That 2 a.m. bathroom run isn't random. Each wake-up quietly drains your deep sleep and nudges real health risks. Stay with me for a safe, natural path to lasting nighttime relief. Clear steps, no hype. You open your eyes, darkness, silence. But there it is again, the urge. Another night, another trip to the bathroom. You shuffle through the hallway, barely awake, already dreading the struggle to fall back asleep. What if I told you this isn't just a random inconvenience? Waking up to pee in the middle of the night, known medically as nocturia, affects millions of people, and it's far more common than most realize. But here's the real shocker. The most frequent cause isn't your age. It isn't your bladder. It's a simple mistake made every day, hidden in plain sight. Let me be clear. 1 or 2 nightly awakenings may seem harmless at first glance, but the cumulative effect on your body and mind is profound. Interrupted sleep disrupts the delicate hormonal balance your body relies on to regulate everything from blood sugar to brain function. Memory, focus, immune defense, even mood, all silently erode when your rest is compromised. And while the consequences may not appear immediately, over time, this innocent habit can have ripple effects on your long-term health and vitality. So, what is this mistake so many of us are making? Before I tell you, let me make you a promise. If you stay with me until the end of this journey, I'm going to share a simple bonus, a natural, easy-to-follow strategy you've probably never heard of. One that helps support bladder function and sleep continuity, especially when used correctly. But be warned, if misused, even natural solutions can backfire. That's why it's vital to pay close attention, because your well-being deserves care and precision. Now imagine this. You go to bed early, aiming to wake up refreshed. Yet, at 2:47 a.m., you're wide awake, your heart isn't racing, you're not stressed, but your bladder feels full. Again. It doesn't make sense. So many people blame their bodies. I'm just getting older, they say. But science tells another story, and the truth is surprisingly empowering. Our body operates on a circadian rhythm. While we sleep, certain hormones, including antidiuretic hormone, ADH, reduce the kidney's urine production. This is what allows us to sleep through the night without interruption. But here's where things go wrong. Lifestyle choices made just hours before bedtime can block this hormone from doing its job. This means your body is trying to rest, but you've unknowingly triggered it to stay active. A common scenario looks like this. You finish dinner. Then, feeling a little thirsty, or maybe wanting to relax, you sip on a flavored water, a relaxing tea, or perhaps a sports drink. Maybe it's a small glass of juice or a protein shake. Doesn't matter if it's healthy. If it's liquid and you drink it close to bedtime, your kidneys are still working, and your bladder will remind you of that in a few short hours. But the real issue isn't just the liquid. It's when and how it's consumed. Drinking fluids too close to bedtime doesn't allow your body time to process them. That excess volume increases bladder pressure during the early stages of sleep, which makes you more likely to wake up. And once that sleep cycle is broken, the quality of rest drops significantly. You don't just lose time, you lose the deepest, most restorative stages of sleep that your body depends on to reset itself. You might be wondering, should I just stop drinking water at night altogether? Absolutely not. Hydration is essential, especially for organ health, skin, metabolism, and even cognitive performance. But the secret lies in timing and type, something we'll explore deeper in just a moment. For now, let this truth settle in, that nighttime awakening isn't random, and it's not inevitable. You have far more control than you think. And once you uncover the full scope of this mistake and how to correct it naturally, you'll start to experience a kind of sleep you might have forgotten was even possible. But it all starts with recognizing that hydration at the wrong time isn't helping your body. It's tricking it. In the next insight, we'll uncover a common health myth that nearly everyone believes. A well-intentioned habit celebrated in fitness circles, health apps, and even some wellness podcasts. But when it comes to your sleep and bladder, this one behavior could be doing more harm than good. And ignoring what comes next doesn't just slow down your results. It might actually trigger new symptoms over time. So stay with me. This next step is one of the most important. So many of us have grown up hearing this advice. Make sure you drink plenty of water every day. It's printed on posters in doctors' offices, promoted in wellness articles, and echoed by nearly every health influencer online. Staying hydrated is a symbol of a healthy lifestyle. But what if this well-meaning advice, when applied at the wrong time, is the very thing stealing your sleep? Let's be clear. Hydration is not the enemy. But what most people don't realize is that nighttime hydration is not the same as daytime hydration. During the day, your body is moving, digesting, metabolizing. It has dozens of active processes helping to manage fluid intake. But at night, your system slows down to prioritize rest and repair. Your kidneys reduce urine production under the influence of the antidiuretic hormone, ADH, helping your bladder stay quiet until morning. Here's the twist. The timing of your water intake can override that natural hormonal process, and that's where most people make a mistake. Let me walk you through a very typical American evening routine. Dinner around 7 p.m., maybe a salty meal, pizza, Chinese takeout, or even a seemingly healthy frozen meal. By 8 or 8:30, you feel a little thirsty, so you reach for a glass of water. Then, while winding down, you sip on a cup of herbal tea. You're doing what seems right, keeping hydrated, relaxing, preparing for sleep. But here's what's really happening in your body. The sodium from dinner has started to retain water in your system. Your kidneys are working harder to filter out the excess, and when you add more fluids late in the evening, you've now created the perfect condition for nighttime urgency. Your bladder doesn't understand intentions. It responds to volume. And that tea? Even if it's caffeine-free, many herbal blends like hibiscus, lemon balm, or green tea contain natural diuretics, substances that increase urine production. Even so-called detox teas and wellness drinks often contain hidden ingredients that stimulate your kidneys. By the time you fall asleep, your body is still metabolizing those fluids. Within a few hours, your bladder fills to a point that triggers waking. This pattern disrupts your deep sleep cycles, particularly the stages where memory consolidation, hormone regulation, and tissue repair occur. What starts as one harmless glass before bed becomes a pattern of interrupted nights, foggy mornings, and growing fatigue. There's another hidden layer to this, the belief that nighttime thirst must be quenched immediately. But in many cases, this thirst isn't from dehydration, it's from habitual signaling. If your body has learned to expect fluids at night, it will continue asking for them. Like muscle memory, this can be trained and retrained. So, how do we fix this without risking underhydration? Here's a strategy. Front-load your hydration. Begin your day with a glass of water and ensure you're consistently drinking fluids throughout the day. Then, start tapering down your liquid intake about 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. This gives your body time to process and eliminate excess fluid before you sleep. If you enjoy a warm drink to relax at night, opt for something neutral, like warm water with a slice of ginger or a small amount of chamomile. Stay away from anything marketed as detox or energizing, even if labeled caffeine-free. Also, be mindful of hidden sources of fluids. Soups, smoothies, and high-water content fruits like watermelon and cucumber add to your total intake, especially when consumed in the evening. None of this means you should go to bed thirsty. It simply means listening to your body earlier in the day and honoring its natural cycles. Your body knows how to rest, but it can't do that when you override its rhythm with misplaced habits. Correcting this one behavior may be the key to reclaiming your nights and waking up truly rested. But there's something even more surprising that most people completely overlook. There are seemingly healthy drinks, and even snacks, consumed just before bedtime that act like silent saboteurs to your bladder and your sleep. They're praised in health circles, often marketed as calming or gut-friendly, but they may be doing just the opposite when taken at night. Understanding how these hidden diuretics affect your body could mean the difference between a restless night and uninterrupted sleep. Ignore the next step, and not only could you be stuck repeating the same mistake, but you might also trigger unintended imbalances that ripple into your energy, mood, and metabolism. This next insight could change everything you thought you knew about your nighttime routine. You've adjusted the timing of your hydration. You've learned that even the healthiest-looking habits can silently sabotage your sleep. But there's another detail, often overlooked, that has a powerful impact on your body's signals at night, and it's hiding inside your evening cup. It's common to assume that if something is labeled natural, it must be gentle. That if it's plant-based, herbal, or found in a wellness store, it can only do good. But when it comes to sleep and bladder health, the truth is more nuanced and more surprising. Millions of people turn to tea as part of their nighttime routine. It's soothing. It signals to the brain that the day is ending. It feels comforting. But here's where things get tricky. Many of these teas, even the ones labeled sleep or calming, contain compounds that naturally stimulate urine production. Chamomile, a classic bedtime favorite, is generally safe. But blends that include ingredients like hibiscus, lemongrass, fennel, or even dandelion are naturally diuretic. These plants encourage the body to eliminate water, sometimes aggressively, especially when consumed regularly. And then there's green tea. It's praised for its antioxidants, but even decaffeinated green tea contains trace amounts of caffeine, along with catechins that mildly stimulate the bladder. If you're drinking green tea before bed, thinking it will calm your system, your kidneys may be receiving a different message entirely. In health-conscious households, this is a widespread issue. You make the choice to replace dessert with a cup of detox tea. You choose kombucha instead of soda, or herbal blends instead of sweetened drinks. On the surface, it's a better decision. But late at night, your bladder doesn't care about your intentions. There's another silent culprit here: carbonated beverages. Even naturally flavored sparkling water, now incredibly popular in American homes, can cause mild irritation in the bladder lining. That irritation can create the false sensation of urgency, even when your bladder isn't full. The result? You wake up in the night not because you need to urinate, but because your body has been tricked into believing you do. And this doesn't just apply to what you drink. Some nighttime snacks can have a similar impact. Foods rich in potassium, like bananas or avocados, support overall health, but when paired with certain herbs or teas, they can increase urinary frequency in sensitive individuals. The combination of ingredients, timing, and personal sensitivity creates a complex interaction that most people never consider. What's essential here is balance. You don't need to eliminate every herb or drink from your nighttime routine, but it's important to become aware of their effects, especially when consumed within 2 hours of sleep. Start observing. If you find yourself waking up on nights, you drink a certain tea or eat a particular snack, take note. Sometimes, awareness is more powerful than any prescription. If you love a warm drink before bed, stick with ingredients that support, not sabotage, your sleep. Chamomile on its own, passion flower, or a small amount of valerian root can be effective without being overly stimulating to the kidneys. Warm milk, or a plant-based alternative like oat milk, can also provide comfort without increasing bladder pressure. And let's not forget one crucial piece: consistency. One night of perfect choices won't reset your body, but a week of mindful adjustments? That's where real change begins. You deserve to rest fully. You deserve to sleep deeply and wake up with energy. These small shifts, removing hidden diuretics, adjusting your evening choices, are how you get there. But it gets even deeper than this, because sometimes the bladder isn't the problem at all. Sometimes the real issue is how your brain and hormones are interacting while you sleep. And if you don't understand how that connection works, no amount of herbal adjustments or hydration timing will give you the peace you're searching for. The next step might change how you think about sleep forever. If you skip it, you won't just be missing results. You might be reinforcing patterns that quietly damage your ability to rest, think clearly, and recover. That's why this next insight is one of the most important so far. Sometimes the real reason you're waking up to pee has nothing to do with your bladder. It's not about what you drank. It's not about what you ate. It's about something happening deeper inside. Something quietly disrupting your body's natural rhythm. Let's talk about hormones. When you fall asleep, your body enters a highly coordinated biological state. One of the key players in this process is the hormone known as ADH, or antidiuretic hormone. Its job is simple: signal your kidneys to slow down urine production so you can sleep through the night. But what if this hormone isn't being released properly? The truth is, many of our modern habits interfere with ADH production, and we don't even realize it. One of the most underestimated triggers? Light exposure. Scrolling through your phone before bed, watching TV in a dark room with a glowing screen, walking into a brightly lit kitchen at night, it all sends a message to your brain that it's still daytime. And when your brain thinks it's daytime, it holds back the release of melatonin, the sleep hormone. Without melatonin, the cascade that leads to proper ADH release doesn't happen. So you go to sleep, but your kidneys are still in daytime mode, producing urine at full speed. And 3 or 4 hours later, you're awake again, not because of what you drank, but because your body was never fully told to switch into sleep mode. There's more. Stress also interferes with this delicate hormonal balance. Cortisol, the stress hormone, competes with melatonin. If your stress levels are high or even just persistently elevated, your melatonin and ADH levels remain suppressed. This makes you more likely to wake up throughout the night, and especially more prone to urinating at those times. And here's something few people know. Temperature plays a role too. If your room is too warm, your body struggles to enter the deep stages of sleep, and this disruption further interferes with hormone regulation. The ideal room temperature for sleep? Somewhere between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit. When your core temperature drops slightly, your brain recognizes it as a signal to increase melatonin, and in turn, support ADH production. All these elements, light, stress, temperature, are invisible forces working either for or against you. This might sound complex, but it all leads to a very simple idea. If your brain doesn't feel safe and calm, it won't let your body fully rest. And when rest is compromised, so is the body's ability to regulate even the most basic functions, like holding urine overnight. What can you do? Create a wind-down ritual that prioritizes calm and darkness. At least 1 hour before bed, reduce screen use or use a blue light filter. Dim the lights in your home. Avoid stimulating conversations or tasks. Give your body and brain permission to slow down. If stress is a daily companion, consider integrating a short breathing practice or light stretching into your evening. No need for an elaborate routine. Just 5 minutes of intentional calm can signal your nervous system to shift from alert to relaxed. Adjust your sleep environment too. Use blackout curtains, silence unnecessary electronics, and keep your room cool. These may seem like small details, but together, they help your body do what it's designed to do. Enter deep, uninterrupted rest. By supporting your body's natural hormonal processes, you reduce nighttime urine production, not because you forced it, but because you finally stopped interrupting what was already supposed to happen. And here's something worth remembering. Many people chase complex solutions without ever realizing their body has been trying to fix the problem all along. It just needed the right conditions. But there's one more factor still hidden beneath the surface, something very few people talk about. It's not about hormones, hydration, or even your evening routine. It has to do with what you eat and how certain foods quietly sabotage your sleep through their impact on kidney function. Miss this next insight, and the work you've done so far could lose its power. Worse, it could set the stage for deeper imbalances that grow over time. That's why the next step is not only essential, it may be the most critical change yet. You've already seen how light, stress, and temperature can quietly nudge your body out of its natural night mode. There's one more everyday trigger that often slips past even the most careful routines, and it's sitting right on the dinner table. What you eat in the evening changes how hard your kidneys and hormones have to work while you sleep. That work doesn't stop at bedtime, especially if the meal is heavy, salty, or paired with certain condiments that are common in North American kitchens. Picture a typical late dinner, a generous slice of pepperoni pizza, a side salad with bottled dressing, maybe some fries or garlic knots, and a fizzy drink. Or swap the pizza for a large burrito with extra salsa, chips, and a store-bought smoothie for balance. On paper, it's a treat. In your body, it's a signal to get busy. Sodium draws water into the bloodstream. Protein load increases nitrogenous waste. Simple carbohydrates spike insulin and then crash. Sauces add hidden salt, sugar, and preservatives. The net effect is a seesaw of fluid shifts that your kidneys must correct, often deep into the night when you'd rather be recovering. This isn't about fear. It's about physiology. High sodium meals increase total fluid volume, which your body will try to normalize by the time you're lying down. Protein-heavy dinners, think big steaks, extra chicken breast, or cottage cheese bowls, can be great in the daytime for muscle repair, but at night they extend digestion and increase solute load. Pair either of those with a late dessert or sweetened yogurt, and you've stacked the deck. Insulin spikes can suppress melatonin and alter the timing of ADH release, reducing your body's natural ability to slow urine production. Sauces matter more than most people realize. Ketchup, barbecue sauce, soy sauce, teriyaki, bottled vinaigrettes, and even light ranch often hide hundreds of milligrams of sodium per serving. Deli meats, pickles, canned soups, frozen entrees, and pre-made rotisserie chickens contribute too. Add a sparkling water or diet soda, and carbonation may lightly irritate the bladder wall in sensitive individuals, creating urgency without a full bladder. There is also the question of meal timing. Eating a large dinner within 2 hours of bedtime keeps your core temperature higher and digestion active. A warmer core makes it harder to enter deep sleep, which in turn disrupts the hormonal cascade you rely on to keep urine production low. Even a healthy meal, if too late and too large, can compete with your sleep. So what does a bladder-friendly evening plate look like? Think volume from vegetables, moderate protein, and skillful seasoning without the salt bomb. Try a baked salmon portion about the size of your palm, a generous serving of steamed or roasted vegetables, zucchini, asparagus, carrots, half a cup of a slow carb like quinoa or farro, and a squeeze of lemon with herbs like parsley, dill, or thyme. Use olive oil instead of sauces heavy in sodium. If you enjoy heat, reach for a pinch of smoked paprika or black pepper rather than hot sauces loaded with sodium. If you want creaminess, blend avocado with plain yogurt and garlic into a quick dressing. No need for bottled additives. Portion size matters. Aim to finish dinner at least 3 hours before you sleep. If that isn't realistic, adjust by shrinking the plate. Smaller protein, extra vegetables, and skip salty sides. If you need a later snack, keep it light and simple, like a handful of unsalted walnuts or a small bowl of plain Greek yogurt with cinnamon. Avoid fruit bowls with melons late at night. Their high water content adds to the bladder burden. Likewise, limit brothy soups in the evening, even homemade ones. Electrolyte balance can help. Instead of adding more salt, use potassium-rich foods earlier in the day. Leafy greens, beans, sweet potato, so your body doesn't crave salty condiments at dinner. Then, at night, emphasize magnesium-containing foods like pumpkin seeds or a small portion of dark leafy greens, which support relaxation without pushing fluids. A useful habit is the evening audit. Before you eat, glance at your day. How much water have you already had? How salty was lunch? Did you rely on packaged foods? If the answers point toward a heavier day, make dinner gentler. Less sauce, fewer condiments, more herbs, earlier finish. Over a week, this small practice teaches your body a calmer rhythm, and your sleep begins to show it. If you do enjoy cuisines that are traditionally higher in sodium, like barbecue, deli sandwiches, ramen, or takeout stir-fry, try 2 tweaks. First, order extra vegetables and ask for sauces on the side. Second, split the portion. Eat half earlier and save half for lunch the next day. Your taste buds will be just as happy, and your bladder will thank you at 2 a.m. None of this requires perfection. It requires attention. When your plate and your timing respect the biology of the night, your kidneys get to rest too. That's how you transform interrupted sleep into a steady, restoring night. We're almost ready to pull the final thread, tying together hydration timing, hidden diuretics, hormonal support, and evening nutrition into one simple, natural plan you can follow step by step. Skip that final piece, and the progress you've built may plateau or even backfire in subtle ways because the details of implementation matter. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results. It may also introduce unwanted side effects over time if you guess the quantities or methods instead of following them carefully. So approach it with informed confidence. You've connected the dots. Late evening liquids, sneaky diuretics, screen-lit rooms, warm bedrooms, and salty dinners can all tip your body out of its night mode. Now it's time to put the pieces into a single, practical routine that respects how your system actually works. This is where small, precise steps unlock deep, continuous sleep, and where the most common mistake finally becomes obvious enough to avoid every night without effort. The core issue is timing. Your body is designed to lower urine production while you sleep, guided by melatonin and the antidiuretic hormone, ADH. When you flood your evening with extra fluids or diuretic foods, or when light and heat keep your brain in day mode, you override that program. The fix isn't restriction, it's alignment, hydration, nutrition, and environment working with your internal clock. Here's a simple evening framework you can follow, adaptable to hectic schedules and travel. 4 to 5 hours before bed, finish the bulk of your hydration for the day. If you're someone who usually catches up on water at night, shift those ounces earlier by setting gentle reminders in the afternoon. Don't force large boluses of water. Steady, moderate sips are easier on your system. 3 hours before bed, finish dinner. Keep the plate balanced. Moderate protein, plenty of vegetables, and limited sauces heavy in sodium or sugar. If you crave something sweet, a few berries or a square of dark chocolate is better than desserts that pair sugar with lots of fluid, like shakes or puddings, this late. 2 hours before bed, taper fluids. This is the quiet zone for your bladder. If you want something warm, choose a small mug, about 120–150 ml, of a non-diuretic option like plain chamomile, passion flower, or simply warm water with a sliver of fresh ginger. Avoid green tea, hibiscus, dandelion, or detox blends at this time. 90 minutes before bed. Protect melatonin. Dim household lights, use warm bulbs, and reduce screens or switch on blue light filters. Lower the thermostat or use a fan. Most people sleep better in a cool room with breathable bedding. These signals let your brain release melatonin and support ADH, so kidneys naturally slow urine output. 60 minutes before bed. Calm the nervous system. Try a 5-breath pattern. Inhale through the nose for 4 counts. Pause for 2. Exhale for 6. Pause for 2. Repeat for 3 minutes. Light stretching or a brief journaling practice can offload mental tension. Keep conversations gentle. Your brain remembers tone. 30 minutes before bed. No more liquids. Brush teeth, wash face, and keep the bathroom trip routine, but unhurried. If nighttime thirst appears, consider a sip rather than a cup. Remember, thirst can be habitual. Gentleness retrains it. Now, the preparation you've been waiting for. The small, natural aid that supports bladder comfort without pushing fluids. If you choose to use it, do so thoughtfully and consistently. Grind 1 tablespoon of unsalted pumpkin seeds into a coarse powder using a coffee grinder or mortar. Mix the powder into a small spoonful of plain yogurt or applesauce and take it about 60–90 minutes before bed, ideally before the 2-hour fluid taper begins. Pumpkin seeds naturally provide plant compounds and minerals that can support pelvic floor and bladder function. If you're dairy-free, use oat-based yogurt. Avoid combining this with large amounts of liquid. The goal is support, not extra volume. Start with this amount 3 to 4 nights per week and observe your response for 2 weeks before adjusting. If you have nut or seed allergies, skip this step. Pair this with a brief pelvic floor awareness practice. Not straining, just gentle coordination. While seated, exhale and imagine you're lifting a blueberry with the muscles you'd use to stop urine flow. Hold for 3 seconds, then fully relax for 6 seconds. Repeat 5 times, once per evening. The relax phase matters as much as the lift. Chronic tension can mimic urgency. If you wake during the night, avoid bright lights. Use a low-watt nightlight or red-tinted bulb if needed. Move slowly and keep the experience neutral. No phone checks, no email, no news. If your mind races, return to the 5-breath pattern. Even if you're up for a few minutes, this minimizes the jolt to your hormonal rhythm so you can fall back asleep more easily. On travel days or after late dinners, lean on damage control. Reduce sauce portions, skip brothy soups, and keep evening drinks to sips. A short, cool shower can gently drop core temperature and encourage melatonin release when schedules run late. And here's the big reveal, made simple enough to live by. The most common mistake that forces you to wake up to pee is packing the last 3 hours of your day with liquids and hidden diuretics while your brain is still getting daytime signals from light, heat, and stress. Fix the window, taper fluids, remove diuretic triggers, dim the lights, cool the room, and let your nervous system idle down, and your body will do what it's been trying to do all along. Hold steady through the night. Let this become your new normal, not a temporary experiment. Track how many nights you sleep through, how rested you feel, and how your evening routine evolves. If you experience burning, pain, fever, swelling, or sudden changes in urination, that deserves professional care. Natural strategies complement, but never replace, medical evaluation when red flag symptoms appear. Respect your body's signals. They're designed to keep you safe. You've taken a thoughtful path, one rooted in biology, not gimmicks. Protect your nights and you protect everything your days are made of. Mood, clarity, strength, patience. If this guidance helps, pass it on to someone who needs a gentler night. Share, save, and revisit until it feels effortless. Your best mornings start the evening before. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results. It may also introduce unwanted side effects over time if you guess the quantities or methods instead of following them carefully. So approach it with informed confidence.